Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to On Loose Lines on a very, very wet Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully everyone is dry and well. Special guest off the top of the show is Troy Harley. Hello to you, Troy.
Oh, yeah, Paul, if you're dry at the moment, I don't think you will be next 24 hours by the look of it, but if you're dry at the moment, you'll be inside all day.
Absolutely, and my fine New Zealand friend Cambrai will no doubt chime in, because at one stage there I did happen to tell him where I was, and best part of being on the couch all day. So yeah, so I know exactly where I've been, and he'll come in to shelf me. But yeah, Marie's out in the weather now trying to feed up, so which is pretty typical.
I suppose in our defence, it's right for Cam. He has 330 days a year like this, when he has 25.
I think they've got better weather than us just at the minute, mate. So
they have at the moment. It's pretty strong. Mind you, one of your supporters on one of your pages put a nice clear day photo up from Ballarat, which I really find hard to believe. I reckon that had to have changed at some stage during the day.
I don't believe him. He actually told me, Mick Stanley actually tried to tell me that he was just finished mowing the lawns at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, good luck to him.
Just made it.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily if I believe him or not. I'm a bit like you, but yeah, it's all good. Emyo has already chimed in. She's actually stated of the showers. Don't forget, you can get involved in this show. As I said, it's a pretty big show tonight. I've got quite a few guests. We've got Noel Ridge. One for you, Hales, because you're no longer the CEO at Bendigo, but the veteran drivers race is coming up again, and it's something that's pretty exciting for a lot of the people in Bendigo, and they like it, and it's just a good celebration. That's on October 4, so I know you keep an eye on most things that are going on at Bendigo, but it's just a lot of fun that day with a lot of the veteran drivers to get involved in that one. Caught up with Doug Hewitt after the Derby. Paul Rowse from Ballarat in regards to Inter-Dominion and Inter-Dominion tickets coming on sale already. Plus, I've got yourself, and Mark Barton's going to join me shortly, about 6:15, I reckon. Bardo will be joining me. Plus, who knows what else could happen? I don't even know. Did Daniel Hibberd call Bendigo Greyhounds today, mate?
Yes, he did. I think the last race was run about 3 or 4 minutes back, so he's probably about headed down to the car and the next couple of hours in the car.
Yep. Well, I might have to ring him a little bit later on then and just see what he's up to. So go from there. Don't forget, you can get involved in the show. Hales, you and I have done quite a few of these together. Wanted to meet you at the track today. You said no. You said won't be happening. Is that about the way it works?
Ankle deep in mud and crap, rather than talking up to you and hearing mud and crap. But yeah, it was one of those days. Unfortunately, that's how it is. It's working with animals and children.
It is, and I put a video out on Twitter, basically, because I think sometimes we get forgotten. A lot of people that do livestock, I was about to say, horses and dogs, Hales, but of course Emyo, she's got the sheep. There's so many people get out in this weather, so we see all these reports about staying safe, staying dry, don't drive under a bridge with flooded waters in Melbourne. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but they don't realise we've got to get out in the weather and get things done this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely, mate, and it's probably easy enough for us. We go inside and get changed and dressed in a hot warm shower, whatever we do, and a cup of coffee. But the animals themselves, they're quite often forced to be out in terms of having to do their work or their feed or whatever else the elements throw at them, and they're the hard, tough participants as far as I'm concerned, the animal, and that's why we look after them as much as we can.
Yeah, definitely. They do a terrific job. We've got quite a few. Cambrai is actually on there and listening, so no doubt there'll be some smart comment come through at some stage from the fine Kiwi. Your big meeting for Bendigo. I caught up with Charlton and Daniel last week from there to promote. It was actually Battlers Cup night, but the big, I suppose, the crescendo, the one of the main meetings for Bendigo is the Bendigo Cup meeting, and it is on this Friday night, mate. And firstly, with the field, you've assembled a ripper field of greyhounds.
Yeah, they have, mate. Firstly, fancy interviewing those two as battlers. They're flying, the pair of them, Charlton and Dan. You'll keep them. But
is that a payback? Is that a bit of a payback from last week? You might have copped a bit of sledging last week, I think.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be on air for a couple of hours on Friday night. That's when there'll be payback. The power of the microphone. No, the Bendigo Cup every year. It's the one cup that generally always gets 8 heats, which is rare these days, and the depth is always good. And every year we say it's as good as what it's been. And well, there's no superstars about at the moment in terms of the sprinting stage. But last couple of years we've had the Shimmer Shines and the Tiggerlong Tonks and those sort of dogs, even back to the Fernando Bales that headlined the act. But such is the type of race that there were 3 or 4 pretty significant upsets in the heats, and yet you've still got only 2 greyhounds or 3 greyhounds, I think, over double figures in the final. And to have Typhoon Semi, the track record holder from the heats last year, finished 3rd in last year's Cup. Very rare for dogs to back up in the same group race 2 years in a row, and he'll start a short price favourite, but he can't afford to make many mistakes because it's such a hot race as it always is. And he's actually going for a 50 grand bonus for 3 country cups in the 1 year. It's the last chance to do it because the next country cup available is sail over 650 metres, and if he went 650 metres, he'd need a defibrillator or an oxygen tank. So he's won the 2 country cups, and the 50 grand of the winner plus the 50 grand bonus, we could be handing over a cheque at Bendigo on Friday night for 100,000 of the connections to Typhoon Semi.
That's 100 grand. That's amazing. That's amazing. And
Yeah,
I'm sure you've got things ready to go with that, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So, what's something we talked about during the week that I've been involved in a couple of these. I've been forced up. The first one that ever went off was El Gran Senor, and I was the manager at Warrigal for his cup. Then I came up to Bendigo and Shepherd, and he won the Shepherd Cup to make it the 3. And there's been a couple win it since, and I've been fortunate to be a part of the leg and be able to promote that thing. But at the end of the day, when they win the 3rd one, so I haven't been a hell of a lot done over it since. So we've got a few things planned. The club's got a few things planned to be able to make sure it's to be exciting, both building up to it on Friday and also on the night if Typhoon Semi gets the cash.
Going to be a lot of fun, and we'll get the message out there. Daniel's not watching at the minute. I've got a few of my Kiwi mates, and we've got a bit of Kiwi content to come into the show in a little bit. But Debbie Hibberd is on. That's Mum, Troy, in case you're not aware. So don't worry, if Daniel is listening, because he generally plugs it into the Bluetooth on the way home, I'll get him on the way home. Hopefully he gets home safely. I can report, Troy, batten down the hatches, mate. In about half an hour, you're going to get another massive storm. We're about half an hour ahead of what Troy gets here. It is dead set coming straight down again now. It's just incredible here outside the window. So be ready for that.
It rarely goes up. It generally comes down.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you very much. I'm glad I'm not working with you. And Jeffrey Dixon, I'll get to your comment in a minute, but actually, Troy, you'll appreciate it. Hi, Paul. Glad you're on. Rather listen to you than Brittany Gra. It's okay. I'll take any sort of compliment. I don't agree. I think Britt does a great job, and she's pretty good for the sport. She's very good for the sport, but I'll take that as a compliment, mate.
Yeah, Britt does a great job, but she's not on the #1 rated online harness and racing show in the country, is she?
No. We'll get through. We'll stay on track because I'll get off track. It was something I had to highlight. I'm easy at getting off track, Hales. You can't.
Yes, I know.
You can't hear this from me. Cambrai has come in with a good one for you, Troy. Why did that not go off? Oh no, that didn't. I need that one off. Great to hear from the great man tonight. G'day, Troy. So you've got some fans in New Zealand as well, mate.
Outstanding. Hi, Cam. Glad you're tuning in and keeping you entertained.
Right, back to this cup. Let's try and stay on track. I told Bardo it won't be before 15:15. He's going to log on at some stage. He's got no hope. He's got another half an hour. There's a dog here, number 5. I just read it and assumed it was Shimmer Sheen. Half brother, or yes. Is it related?
Related. So it's out of Shimmer Song, which I think was a half sister to Shimmer Shine. So very similarly bred. Got plenty of pace, goes good, but it's not Shimmer Shine. He's happily retired to stud and got a couple of apparently promising offspring breaking at the moment.
Yeah, I saw that name and just assumed, because I mean, doing these cups, we don't do the cups anymore, unfortunately, but when we've been doing them, he was just a regular, and I thought I saw where he'd been retired, and then I saw him there. I thought, oh no, he's back. But apart from Typhoon Semi, I don't know a lot of those dogs there at all, Troy. There's, I suppose, a new wave of the greyhounds coming through.
Yeah, there is. Queensland Bar and Ashton Merritt have been thereabouts for a while. They've only had the 30-odd starts, but they've won a couple 100,000 between them by making big race finals, and obviously Sydney wins. Also, Mick is one of those greyhounds that pokes along and there's only 16 races from 57, but sort of hasn't got the headlines other dogs do. Penn Panadero Warrior is the inexperienced runner of the race. He only had the 17 starts for 8 wins and 4 placings. He is capable of absolutely anything on his day. Salad Dodger, there'll be a few people will be backing that just by name. It's,
none of the vegans.
He's an exciting prospect as well. They'll be all on it, but they just don't bet on racing. It's won 10 out of 26, and he's no slouch. He's certainly no slouch, but he's probably up against in a race like this. But these are all grounds have got terrific strike rates, but you sort of haven't heard of them as much because they're not performing in those pin-up Group 1 races apart from a dog like Typhoon Semi, but a few of them are headed, I think, for bigger and better things.
Yeah, good. Well, that's a good launching place. The Battlers Cup, just sad that you can win a heat and not qualify. I think 4 dogs missed out on qualifying, but it's assembled a great field. I'm sure you're wrapped in that and how that concept is continuing to grow. But you've got a big field of full-on races all on Friday night.
Yeah, well, the Battlers Cup finals, it's worth $5,000, and it's for the lowest tier dogs that we have racing in terms of class, and there is a consolation for them as well, and it's worth $3,500 winners. So there's not much difference actually between the final and the consolation, but the Mangus Greyhound Complex Vic Bred Maiden Final is worth $10,000 the winner. You've also got the match race worth $10,000 the winner, and the Hip Pocket Bendigo Spring Cup worth $10,000 the winner, which is a terrific race between 2 up-and-coming stayers in Quarter and Hummock, as well as obviously 6 others in the race. But those 2 grounds were outstanding last week. Hummock only ran a touch outside the track record that stood for about 7 or 8 years, I reckon. So that's a good race as well. And yeah, it's just a terrific race all over. There's even a restricted win race worth $4,000. So it's a quality race night from race 1 through to race 12, as it always is.
No, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, we're going to showcase it. We will be showcasing it on YouTube. There's some chance it may go onto Facebook. We'll just see how that goes. But we primarily want people to go to the YouTube page and follow on the YouTube page. And you've got a unique competition for people to be able to get involved with, Troy.
Yeah, so the club's starting to try and build up the YouTube page. Obviously, all new TVs come with YouTube, so it's easy to watch on your nice big screen at home if we're on YouTube as opposed to Facebook. And you'll probably end up putting it to both, trying to promote that YouTube channel. But if you go to the Bendigo Greyhounds YouTube page and subscribe, and there's a small video on there at the moment called Bendigo Cup Heat Snapshot. If you post a comment in there or go into a draw on Cup night to win a prize, the club's yet to determine what that is, but it'll be worthwhile. I can guarantee you that. So go to the Bendigo Greyhounds YouTube channel, subscribe there, and then post a comment in either that video or when we put up the preview for the Cup sometime tomorrow afternoon. If you post in there, and their names will go into the draw to win a prize or 2.
Now the coverage, I thought I was hosting the show, but I don't think I've got a gig. Am I sitting behind the camera again? Is that how it works?
Hosting? Do you host? do you work on that side of the camera, do you? You'd have to brush the cobwebs off that. I suppose the rain sorted that out. No, you're behind the camera calling the shots, trying to make us look better.
Who have you got with you?
I've got myself and Corey Smith. I've been doing the country cuts the last 12 months from the Meadows. Mitch Abaya, the Peacock, he's representing Sportsbet, who are obviously on board these days as the major wagering sponsor, and they'll be involved in the show as well, a few promotions, and who knows who could fly by. I think Juppy's setting up a stand not far from us, so that'll be a bit of fun as well. And obviously James Vandermark doing the Punters Club. There's no chance in hell that he won't be getting his face on the camera, and we'll probably try and get Dan involved and Molly and a few others, and just get a bit of the colour and fun. It's a big night. There's live entertainment and music going on. If you know the track between the playground and the harness shed, there'll be a few trucks there, big screen with the Sky Channel on. I think Jess Magden's playing, as well as Kate DeRuge will be playing a concert after last for about an hour. Merv Hughes, a special guest in the Past the Post Lounge. I'm fortunate I could interview Merv. We'll try and get Merv on the show as well for a bit of laugh and entertainment, and there'll be plenty happening on the night from Gutaway.
Tune into the show. Don't worry about Mitch Abaya. He looks like his mouth's moving, but you can't hear him. It's purposeful, because I actually have control of the audio as well, Hales, and I've worked out we'll be able to get a word in because I'll just mute his audio and we'll just let him keep rabbiting on by himself. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he goes pretty good. I rate myself a pretty good talker. He's Group 1.
I dedicate Facebook shows to myself, and he just canes me. We got no chance. We got no chance against him. That is for sure. So.
He's a character, but he knows his stuff as well.
It is going to be a big program and a lot of fun. So don't forget, tune in Friday night. Keep an eye on the Bendigo Greyhound Facebook page, but we want to grow the YouTube page mainly. Is that what we want to do? So YouTube, both you and I bang on about it, Hales. That's why I do Talking Trotters. live on YouTube. It is this unkept secret. It is there in everyone's lounge rooms, everyone's bedrooms if they've got a TV. It's very easy. It can be viewed worldwide. So the viewership is amazing. And as an organisation, the racing organisation, we're probably a little bit behind the times. Most of the other sporting functions just use it, and it's just, it is brilliant what it can do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think it's the way to go. We had a national conference in Sydney and had a few of the boys from Fox Sports talking about the ways you can expand your television viewership without a lot of investment, and YouTube was certainly the way to do that. I think if we keep pushing that, as long as obviously social media as well, because people are still firmly entrenched in that. But if we can, continue to grow our coverage, I think it's good for all three codes. And mate, while you got Cam there, we're talking about greyhound racing. First time in a long time, New Zealand Greyhounds been invited to nominate to participate in the Top Gun Stayers in No Keeper. A terrific stayer from New Zealand. He was out here for the Nationals in Sydney, but he's been invited to nominate, and fingers crossed potentially, depending on the nominations, whether he makes it final eight, but they could have a Kiwi representative in the Top Gun Stayers at the Meadows in late November or in early November. Well,
that'll be huge.
Yeah, that'd be terrific. It, certainly there's no doubting there's plenty of quality over there, and I said he's a genuine dyed-in-the-wool stayer. And if he can make the eight, there's quite a few good stayers about at the moment. But depending on how the final acceptances go and what the panel decides, there's a potential for a Kiwi to be heading over here. I think it's on stakes night on the first Saturday night or second Saturday night in November will be the Top Guns sprinters and stayers, and he's a chance of being the stayers.
Myself and Cam and a few other people, we bang on about harness racing, and our closest neighbours are our biggest ally. We should be able to involve them with everything, and I think greyhounds probably could do the same thing, and it'd only get the sport bigger when you've got two countries supporting the industry. It'll be terrific because the greyhounds need a lot of luck as well. So Cam Bray even knows Craig Roberts trains it, so have a look at him timing.
Correct, that's it. Yeah. That's it, and it was good. It was good to have the New Zealand contingent over here in Sydney for the Nationals and get them back involved after obviously a few years of COVID and a few other years before that. And Liz Werland's doing a wonderful job there in coordinating and promoting ground racing as the chief operating officer over there. And I think Liz has been involved in all three codes like the rest of us, desperate for a race meeting and a race day, and she's doing a great job. And I think things can only continue to go bigger and better as we include each other in our promotions.
I'm actually going to be in New Zealand. We might have to work out. We might do a bit of a cross promotion, Troy. We might.
I'm supposed to be there for New Zealand. I was supposed to be there for New Zealand Cup week, but I stupidly paid a deposit on a new kitchen and I'm broke. So I'll be there. I'll be there in 2023.
Well, on that, MYO has put there. Troy is a great voiceover man. Hello to you that's from M, obviously Hales.
Thanks,
but
M.
Coming up. No, in all seriousness, for 2 secs, coming up to getting the yearling videos and everything else like that done, and getting all those ready and up and going. People think outside the square. Hales is one of these guys that watches these interviews and the videos, and sometimes not knowing the pedigree. We want to tap into a new market, having someone just voice over and highlight what they want. If you use Campbell's comments, you'll more often than not, you'll get Troy Harley involved with the voiceovers as well. So, I thoroughly recommend getting Troy involved with the voiceovers. And if you use Campbell's comments, and if you don't, if you use someone else and you want Troy's voice, by all means, he's available for that as well.
Absolutely, certainly, and thanks for that, Paul, and thanks, Em, and happy to be involved in any aspect of any of the codes.
I got Mark Barton almost ready. I'm not sure if he's ready to go or not. He's nearly there though. He's getting a few things. I think he can hear me. I'm not sure if he looks up. No, he might not be able to hear me. So either that or he's entrenched. He should be able to hear me, but anyway, maybe not. Don't know. Anyway, he's sort of there in a minute, but I was going to say something. Oh, just very, very quickly, Hales. Number one harness racing show in Australia and New Zealand, and I now say India and Pakistan. On last week's show,
Egypt, Greece, Croatia.
On last week's show, I had 18 people from the United States of America log on while it was live. So if there is anyone out there who is watching from America and anywhere else, please get involved by sending us through some messages. I want to grow just want to have some fun. That's all we want to do. So, and that's what it's about. And I saw something the other day. Watch the US Trotting site. It's US Trotting. I forget what it is. Facebook. Type in US Trotting. The rest will come up. Great site to see some really, really different stuff. Bulldog Hanover, Troy, the fastest horse in the world, and keeps getting the job done. This year they've done some cool stuff with some videos with him, so it'll be very, very interesting as to what they're doing there. Troy also said there that Craig Roberts is, Cam said there that he's a great harness man as well, Troy.
Yeah, I think I think he's partner trained some harness horses, I think.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I know they're involved in both codes, but who's not?
Nah, true. So it'll be fine.
Yep.
Yeah, and Norway. Norway's my number one podcast channel. So well done, MO. She actually shared that there. Paces and Trotters. Jeffrey, I'll get to you in a second. That's fine. It's got nothing to do with you. Hales, I'll let you go. You'll find this hard to believe, mate, but I've got to change hats and get myself ready. I've got the boss ready. He can hear me because he heard me say that just then, so he can actually hear me. There's no worries there at all. I'm going to let you go, mate, and thank you very much for joining me, and good luck on Friday night. Good luck putting up with me, but you'll be right. You'll sort it all out, so that'll be fine, mate.
No, we'll have some fun. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, Troy Harley, and we've got quite a few other people coming on. But I want to catch up with Mark Barton, who hopefully, Barto, you're there and you can hear me, mate.
Yeah, no, got you loud and clear now, mate.
And I've got you, and I've even almost framed you up properly. I had a bit of a crack at it very, very quickly. Jackie Gibson's on. Jackie times her run. She's come on and says hello already. So we've got Jackie on. Hello to you, Jack. Hopefully you're safe in the weather. And Cambrai, just quickly back there with Troy. Angela Robertson, I would say, trains trotters as well. So that's something I'll cover off on going forward, mate. On Loose Lines, you know as well as I do, it can be about just about anything and everything, and it generally is. Firstly, how are you? How dry are you up there in Wagga?
Yeah, mate, we're dry. We haven't had rain today, but they're talking our river to peak tonight at around 9.5 to 9.7, which is 1 in 100 stuff. We've got the main bridge to cross the Murrumbidgee just east of town. It's been closed today. I came back through Holbrook, Gundagai. Look, there's a lot of water, and we're not far off probably a little bit of snowmelt this time of year as well, out further up in the catchment, as well as we're predicted to get a fair bit of rain, which you guys have obviously had today.
Did you just say snow?
Snowmelt, like I'm saying, that we get that downstream. As you get snow, the Alps start to melt, we will get that through that Tumut River catchment. So they've been trying to push water downstream to allow for some of that too. So.
Well, okay, there is everything going on. I thought we'd do a little bit of a quick catch-up. There's going to be a little bit more of a release next week. MEO is going to come on and join me next week on the show because we've got quite a few things happening there as well. But just a catch-up as to where things are with Nutrien just at the minute, mate.
Yeah, mate, look, we're busy. We're, I guess, last week I was in Tamworth. We're going through, our classic catalogue, our February sale, which is coming in for its 16th year. We had another sale in September to try and give us some room for that. We still got 814 entries that we've trimmed them up to 660. So, unlike the standard bred market, first-time vendors only allowed one horse, and we'll only take 1 2-year-old male horse, gelding or colt, like just to try and allow people in. But so we've trimmed that up. I'll actually catalogue those horses tomorrow and Friday. So we do actually set our horses in there. We sell by day. So your open age horses first day, then 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, ridden horses. But we'll try and actually set that sort of afternoon run of better horses, where in this market with the standard bred we go alphabetically. It's busy too, mate. We've got our numbers have just shifted around a little bit. So we've actually left our the opportunity for breeders and vendors to make a few more changes up until Monday. We changed, I think, 5 horses this afternoon. So just shifting from Melbourne to Sydney, or Melbourne or Sydney to Bathurst even. So that's just to try and allow people that as long as we can, so that we can start adding a catalogue number to them in the next few days.
Just go back to your sale in February, your main sale, classic sale. It left me for a minute there. When does your catalogue become online? Like that's in late January, start of February. When will it go online?
Yeah, look, we'll try and actually, which it's interesting, the timelines with February and March sales, they're basically the same. We'll try and have the classic catalogue up by the end of the month. We'll have the standard bred horses up online next week. By Wednesday, they'll go live. And by the end of October, we'll go live with the classic. And both will go to the printers around a week apart. So we try and get the standard bred run actually done first, because there's so much distribution with those catalogues, and then we'll get the classic one done after that. And I think, like standard bred, for example, we're looking at possibly 900 pages this year with that one. So it's a big production.
Yeah. The main reason I want to say that is because last week or a bit over a week ago, someone was saying that they should be up and they should be done by now. But it's a bit of a logistical nightmare. And Cam Bray, our New Zealand mate, both you and I both know him really well. He's actually proofing pedigrees over there now. And it was interesting talking to him today. One of the big troubles he has is trying to get the catalogue out on time, like yourself and Em and everyone else are trying to do. But all of a sudden, the feature races are just starting. So because the back end of the season and when the sales are on, it's going to make it, like Cam said, there's going to be that many adjustments to catalogues once they're finished.
Yeah, well, look, we leave ours until Breeders' Crown. Like, we've got Breeders' Challenge out of the way, get Breeders' Crown. That has, I think it was last year, Sydney, Melbourne, it was something like 70% of all pedigrees had changes as a result of the Breeders' Crown. Like, so if you got more than 2/3 of your catalogue adjust because of that, we'll hold for that week. We've got terrific relationships with our printers. We print both catalogues in Newcastle. Those guys are really good at meeting timelines. And like he said, look, we'll set it up. He'll actually, last year, because we did get more time pressure, he actually subcontracted one of our runs so that he had both machines running at the same time, because we pushed back a little bit later with our Tamworth sale, actually. So he actually outsourced that to hit the timelines.
Yep, and there is a lot of pressure. 670 lots, which is great. And Bathurst, you can't actually close Bathurst. I would imagine Bathurst is going to be a separate catalogue because it's still open until the 26th.
End of November we'll leave it open. And definitely what we're seeing is a few people they've shifted horses into that market. There's some that have spread them. We'll talk about him in a minute possibly, but John Coffey's started with us now, and John's been round, seen some horses, looked at some pages, and I'm actually really excited about Bathurst. I think we're going to actually bolster a really good catalogue of horses. And I said to you asked me where do we look. I think we could get 100 horses there, and it's a really important market for regional New South Wales. A lot of buyers come there looking for that horse that's not only eligible for Bathurst, but also there'll be a feature race at Bathurst. Plus, they can pay up for Nutrien as well if they like to. Yeah,
and they're dual and nominated, and it's going to be different. You're going to have temporary yards, stables at the track, so it'll be a little bit easier for all the vendors trying to sell the horses as well. So people that have done it over the years, they might say it's a bit of a struggle. Won't be that same struggle this year.
Yeah, we'll try it, mate. There's some that come in on the day of the sale. We're keen to try and offer that option to people if you want to. Bring your horses there. We don't have to shuttle them back in from the showground then. We can see Friday night racing. The horses are on grounds. We'll try and do something with you to showcase those in a parade or some sort of pre-sale exhibition, and then sell those horses Sunday. And I think it's that carnival feel of Bathurst, what it's historically been. Hopefully we can try and add a little bit of spice to that weekend.
Yeah, and it's going to be very, very big sales. Brisbane, you must be wrapped in the numbers at Brisbane, 136.
Yeah, look, and wrap with the relationship with the both Racing Queensland and Albion Park Club. Really proactive, terrific, group of vendors. That the horses. Well, you've seen a few of them. They're an amazing draft of horses early. We are a bit later than they are traditionally. There have been an end of January sale in Brisbane traditionally, so they're putting 2 months worth of effort into giving us a crack at it when we could get access to that fantastic complex at Magic Millions, but. No, I'm really excited about Brisbane as well. Like I say, the help we've had from some of the Queensland vendors and the Queensland racing entities, I think it's been a really easy fit for us.
I'm going to be in Chinchilla, so there's every chance I might catch up with a bit more Queensland content, if you like, for Campbell's comments over the next couple of weeks. And I will say, just quickly on that, it's been a little bit quiet, just been a bit tricky. We've organised a couple of guys in New South Wales, but with floods and things like that, it's just tempered a little bit. So we have not forgotten anyone. It's just, I suppose, playing the smart game, not the rush game.
Look, it's the spring feed that's in horses. Look, I love this time of year. You've got everyone's flat out. They're breeding horses. They're foaling mares down. Plus, they're ticking along with their yearlings. So it's great. And what I liked last year, you go to a place and you'd say, okay, here's a yearling you're selling. you remember the one we sold last year, and here's the foal just born out of the same mare again. So, you're seeing, 3 generations sometimes on the one day, which I love that, because you start to get a feel and get to know the mare families, which is, I guess, if you don't like the detail in the equine market, regardless of standardbred or performance, it's part of what attracts me to the sport and to this industry.
No, absolutely. I won't hold you much longer. John Coffey coming on board. You must be wrapped.
Yeah, look, mate, apart from you, Paul, he's the only bloke that I've never heard a nasty word about. No, he's a real industry icon. People trust him. People take a lot of notice of what he's got to say. He's not a bloke that's that out there in front of people, but when you listen to him, there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of passion for the industry, and we're thrilled to have him on board. And like I say, one of the aims there is making sure we don't miss those smaller vendors, like we talked about it before with you. The filly that topped Melbourne last year was a vendor with 1 horse, and we want to make sure that those horses are recognised. And if he sees something, then it's incumbent on me to let people like you know, and make sure that the market knows about those 1, 2, 3 horse vendors that have got a quality article. Because you look at Brisbane blew me away with the genetics in the on the sire line, but the performance in the mares, Sydney, Melbourne, major catalogues. It's just an awesome catalogue to see what the trotting part of Melbourne's going to be this year too, and we will be over 2 days, of course.
And the business has grown, like it's grown enormously, I'd imagine, from what you guys were budgeting on starting. You might have wanted to get to this stage, but maybe not quite in 3 years. I think that might have been a bit of a shock. It's a little bit like my platform where I am here. Hence the reason you've got a new position going up. Now, you're not sacking anyone. No one's gone. MEO is watching. So Em's job's safe. Is that right?
Yeah, look, Em can actually take my role. She does more of the work than I do. I just take the accolade, I think, mate. But look, now what's happened? We had our performance end standardbred team basically trying to juggle both balls. Now, as that's evolved, we've had 2 girls actually move. Darby, who'd be known to quite a few of the standardbred people, is originally from WA. She's moved back to the West. She wanted to get back closer to family, and she put a commitment in with the company for a couple of years and did a wonderful job for us. We've got a young lady, Laura Lawrence, who comes from a camp drafting performance horse background, who's put her hands up to really focus on the performance horse piece. And she'll get some support in sales, marketing, sponsorship, etc. And in this, Phoebe, that's been doing our work in the background for standardbred, she's actually taken promotion within the company. So with that role coming up, I thought it was an opportunity to try and get that person based out of Wagga. So they're closer to me, got more access to not just me, but John Coffey's often back and forward between here, people like yourself. There's a lot of vendors in the Riverina, or within 3 hours, if you draw a line, 3-hour circle around Wagga, we have a terrific reach for our client base. So I think that was an opportunity to replace Phoebe's role in that. And then Em has other balls that she juggles, and she's been permanent part-time, but doing probably 6 or 8 hours, 10 hours a week more than she probably needs or wants to do to fit in with her own other jobs she does. So we'll have her still maintain that marketing, our branding, customer liaison. She works closely with Alan Parker. And the beauty of someone like Em is, doesn't matter what time, day or night, she always picks up the phone. Like if you ring, and I guess that's something that's important to the way we try and service our market. So get someone in there to support the girls, and particularly John and myself and Em. I think I think it's a good opportunity for someone, regardless of their experience, young or older. Like someone with a lot of experience might be the right person. We just want the right fit for the team.
And being near you will make it a lot easier to get a lot of stuff done. We don't have to say exactly, but like Em's the other side of Newcastle, then you've got Tamworth. It is a pretty big business spread out a long way. So it just make things a little bit easier for yourself if they were based in Wagga.
Yeah, look, it does. And I think it's, when you're face to face, you're sitting with a team, you come up with ideas. You're not shuttling things back and forward as much. I think it's certainly because of the opportunity with Phoebe taking another position. It gave us an opportunity to reconsider that. You say it must be a great thing. I guess be careful what they wish for, having to be too close to me. But I think it's certainly it's a strong focus on attention to detail and admin. It's a conduit between all the locations. Because of the size of the business now, we'll use different other branches to support us with settling the sales too. So our Toowoomba team, a lot of those same guys were in Melbourne last year. They'll support us on the Gold Coast. The Bathurst branch that have got a couple of guys that are harness racing enthusiasts, they'll help us there. But our core group of people, Mike Rowlands and his back of house staff, as well as Em, myself, the auctioneers won't be any different. But we will use some more people within the Nutrien network to help us, so we've got more localised support for the sales.
Yeah, and Em's put on there, it's a great team. I will say, you do work for your pound of flesh, but it is a lot of fun and it is a great team to be a part of, and I can say that. And like, I'm not even on the official payroll. I'm, I suppose, outsourced if you like, but I will recommend it. Anyone thinking about contacting you and asking about it, I thoroughly recommend it, because you showcase a different way of doing it. Again, I'm not saying that because you pay me bills. It's just, it's the truth, and that's the way I talk.
Look, it's someone that's got a genuine interest in the customer service piece. It's some of the work's not the sexy stuff. It's it's that attention to detail. It's that administrative function that we need. But getting it right, like helping get a stable plan right, so your clients turn up and their first touch with their sales weekend is a positive one. That sort of stuff. The way we brand it. Even like what you're helping us with live streaming, and the way we present it so people that can't be at an event get the same Nutrien experience. I think that's really important to us. And I think that person, it's great to get someone new in the business, because they'll often say, why do you do something a certain way? And you think, well, let's try it a different way, because it's not because it's right. It's just the way you process things. And I've enjoyed, with Laura in the performance horse stuff last week, she had 2 or 3 really good ideas that we've been doing it the same way for 15 years, and I think she's taken 2 days out of a 5-day project in the way we catalogue horses. So
yep,
it's I'm looking forward to working with someone that might bring some great ideas to the team.
Fresh eyes are really good. Stacey Tower says, "There's shame the job is based at Wagga, but that's the reason Stacey is to be there." But she also said their Nutrien look like a great company to do work with, and they are. And because Stacey, she had a winner. Stacey, stay tuned. You're going to feature a bit later on in the show. MEO said it was a great team. Just trying to catch up. There's a couple of other ones that aren't relevant to our conversation. Jackie Gibson's getting more rain. I worry about Jackie, and up there the roads up there is what worry me. Just very, very quickly, Bardo, the one thing we've covered off on the 3 points that you wanted to say, but the one thing I want to say, like I'm wearing the Rasta Trotters jacket, the major sponsors and the people that have got behind you, they're not going anywhere. And I speak of Rasta Trotters, Auctions Plus, Alabar Farms, Woodland Stud, help me out if I'm going to forget someone. Barrastock have come on with the sponsoring of the best presented horses, plus the team at Nutrien. Without this sort of extra support, like you wouldn't be in the position that you are right now.
Look, it all starts with, if you've got a catalogue of something, a quality product, people will come, and it's the way you then, our job is to try and create the right environment so buyers and sellers can interact. That's fundamentally what we do, but we can't do it without the catalogue of horses. The sales catalogues this year are just outstanding. I think I made the comment at our performance horse sale a couple of weeks ago. Used to have people say, look, we benchmark against the way the US presented performance horses and cutting horses. And then I said to someone, there was nowhere else in the world we actually showcase horses on cattle for our cow horse people. And then I look at the way we presented our draft of horses that we stood over in Melbourne and Sydney last year. The fitters and the presenters and the breeders are world class. I think we don't want to undersell how well we do things. And I think that's a real responsibility for us, is to make sure that the way what you put up on a camera for us and what M showcases in some of the marketing and media is about the whole Australian standardbred industry. And I think we all should be really proud of, like, there was an outstanding draft of horses last year, not just on type, but the bar, it lifted significantly last year from our first year, I thought. And I just think it's a celebration of what a great product we have got in Australia. So we talk about benchmarking, and I think that's what we've enjoyed, a really good working relationship with New Zealand Bloodstock. when we looked at what we wanted to be in the market, they set a standard that we would have been proud to try and achieve, and we're still trying to achieve that. And you go to Karaka, and the feel and the way they do it is first, it's world class. And I think we all want to be mindful that the Australian product is a good one. And it's probably premature to say it, but I'm thinking we might be lucky enough to see Cam at both our Sydney and Melbourne sales. And if I can get him on a weak moment, I might even see if I can get him up in the rostrum to sell a few for me.
Well, you look out. I don't think you're having trouble getting him up there. The problem might be getting him down.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't mind working for nothing, which is, I know Kiwis love working for nothing. So if he doesn't mind that, we could come to a very good arrangement. But no, look, I think it's good that we do have across that trans-Tasman approach to how they do things, how they deliver their product. I think is great. We've learned some really good lessons from them. The team at Woodlands have got a great relationship with both companies now, and I think that's the thing, the camaraderie in an industry. Great breeders, fantastic preparers, the way they present their horses, and what we can do. Like the Inglis and Magic Millions complexes are just. They're world-class facilities. So we've got a great product and we've got a great industry. We just got to get more people to realise how good it is.
Emio's keen on Cambrai. Don't say that, Em. You'll I hate that. And Em actually also said by the time preparers, the time and prep that preparers put into Sydney and Melbourne was amazing, and that is right. Jackie Gibson just said then promise him a coffee. It leaks out of him. It'll have to be intravenously dripped into him. That's the worst part about it. So, yeah.
My father is pretty good on the caffeine, but I reckon he would not even make the grade against Cambrai.
I had him for a week. I've never seen so much coffee drunk in my life. And he is still there. He says he loves the sound of his own voice, and we all know that one. So that is all good. Bardo, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for joining me, mate, and keeping up to date. Em's going to come on next week with, I shouldn't say she will. Hopefully she comes on next week. And we will touch off on the catalogue, the website, and where everything's at, all going well. But dealing with technology, they don't always work to times.
No, that's good, mate. We're pretty close to next Wednesday. That'll happen. I've got to say one other thing, mate. I'm starting to think I'm an expert on this job now, because I bought my first racehorse 2 years ago. He's had 3 starts and one he's made the other day. So I reckon anyone that wants to know where to find a horse that will win, I've got a very good strike rate, 1 from 1.
You can look after me major sponsors. It's by Sweet Lou.
It is a Sweet Lou, actually, mate. And I will make one other comment. It's great to deal with horsemen, not just trainers. And the Lucky Lodge team, Robbie Morris. I know I'm giving one bloke a plug, but he's had a couple of horses there for me now. And the way he's managed it, he's a big, late maturing horse, and the way he's handled him is just a credit to a horseman, not just a horse trainer.
No, he's a great bloke, Robbie. I've got a lot of time for him. Done a couple of little interviews with him, and the hardest part you have is trying to get 5 minutes with him.
Yeah, that's it. He's always got a bit on, but no, King of Hearts. I've got him. He's in the paddock here at home now, enjoying a little letdown. So we'll, but and that's probably part of it to let people that aren't in this game know. I've got a mate that's in the horse with me, and just to let them know we've had a bit of fun. We haven't paid him off yet, but he's going nicely, and I think the statistics of what you can do in standard bred racing for the investment is it's a lot more fun than probably chasing 400 and 500 to 1 odds at the camp club.
Cam just put a little comment in there. Any chance of tipping one, which will open up a Pandora's box. So I've read it out, but you don't have to respond to that, because I know I'll be in more trouble than what you will be. So we'll just leave it, won't we?
I think we should, mate. Yeah, well, you gave me a tip 5 minutes after you put your money on and won the race to yourself. So I'm tell Cam I'm happy to actually let him know when my horse races.
It'll be fine, mate. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I will catch up with you shortly. Might be next week. Might not be for a week or two. We'll just see how all the weather goes. But thank you very much for joining me, mate, and coming on the show, clearing off on a couple of things. I'll just quickly run through those numbers just while I have got you there. 237 in Sydney, 136 in Melbourne. This 309 136 in Brisbane. 309 in Melbourne, and an estimate of around 100 for Bathurst. So 300, that's a classic. So 670 horses have accepted at the minute.
Yeah, that was 800 odd noms, and just comparable numbers. I guess what it says is we're putting the best part of 1,500 horses together in catalogues right at the moment. So it's a busy time for the team.
And sold in 3 months. So yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah, well, really in 6 weeks.
Yep.
And look, that's where standardbred's gone for us. You know, we now have feature sales at Charters, Towers, Toowoomba, and a number in Tamworth. That's really what's happening here. We've got Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Bathurst. So it's a it's a similar pathway. And like I say, it's a primary producer. You guys producing yearlings are doing a product that gets value added, and I think that's what they you should be compliment on it. And like I think the other thing we talked about, letting people know in the buying market the cost of production for these yearlings. Like costs are going up for everyone, so we've got to try and get buyers and trainers to recognise the value of these very well bred and very well started youngsters that are with a future in racing.
Is he yours and Lindsay? Now that he's won a race, is he yours and Lindsay's? So you didn't own up to him, because that's Christy. That might be the better half of Mark Barton. So by all accounts, you might have claimed the horse now that he's winning races.
Well, Lindsay and I were told we weren't allowed to have a share in the horse. Mind you, we were the blokes that I think actually scratched out the cheque. So I don't know. But the only thing I would say, Lindsay didn't put any money on him on his first start, but Jan, his wife, did. So Jan probably deserves their share, but I put money on him myself. So I'd like to think I've got something.
It's all good, Bardo. Well, that's what On Loose Lines is about, having a little bit of fun and getting involved, mate. Thank you very much for joining me. All the best. You can log out whenever you want. I'm actually going to flick it off, so you're all good, but we'll catch up with you in the near future, and I'll talk to Em next week.
Sounds good, mate. All the best.
It's Mark Barton there. Better take Hales off as well, because he's not on there, but please make sure you keep getting involved in the show. And giving you feedback. I've got to get to Jeff Dixon and Troy Harley. They're having a private conversation without me, and hopefully we'll be able to get back involved in that. But we have got a very big show still to come. Stacey Towers was on there before, and Stace is she's a bit of a regular here on Campbell's Comments and contributes quite a lot to it. I was rapt to see her finally get the cash on Victor the Inflictor, and anyone that follows Stacey on her social media feeds will know that she's very, very active. This is her down the outside in the blue with the green and white colours coming right down the outside there. Gets up in the last stride. Don't be confused with this rail position or the winning post there at Shepparton. But well done, Stace, for getting the chockies. He's promised a lot. But if you follow her on social media, he actually had an umbrella on today, Victor did, because I don't think he was keen on going out into the awful conditions. So well done, Stace. I see you're on there. So congratulations for winning the other night. And also thank you very much for having a bit of fun with us over the journey. And if you're moving to Wagga anytime soon, Stace, you better let us all know. So if you want that job, we'll go from there. I think that's what she was hedging at, but not sure. So yeah, but that's a bit of a wrap there. Big show still to come. I've got interviews coming up, as I said, with Noel Ridge. Doug Hewitt is also coming on the show. Is caught up with him as well. Plus also Paul Rowse. Plus who knows who else I might get onto the show going forward and continue to grow it there. As I keep saying, I've got to say a big thank you to all my sponsors. Harass the Trotters got their shirt on. Don't forget, Honest Streak was released the other day. Geez, that sounds bad the way I say that. He is now available at to be seen at Cobbity Farm, although they're not in any hurry there because of the waters. But yeah, that's a full roster there for the guys from Harass the Trotters. And don't forget to go to the victrotters.com to buy your raffle tickets. 100 tickets, $50 a ticket, $5,000 to win a free service fee to Honest Streak. All money raised goes back into prize money in harness racing. So I encourage everyone to go to victrotters.com to buy your ticket or get in touch with any of the members, Mick Barbie, Anne-Marie Conroy, Nick Youngson, Katrina Fitzpatrick. There's a few others too. Get in touch with those guys and they will get you a ticket to go into the running. We saw the Harass the Trotters actually had their raffle draw. It was drawn live on my show last Friday night by Fiona Meller. And Danielle Milne won. Robbie Colquhoun ran second. One of the guys out of Just Believe, who'd just won and ended up winning the Bill Collins Mile a bit later on in the night, was third. And then Rebecca Morrissey, who is Danielle Morrissey's sister-in-law, came in fourth. So keep an eye out onto the Harass the Trotters Facebook website pages, and you'll be able to see all those winners and how they actually went there. But congratulations to everyone for getting involved with that. What I'm actually going to do, so Noel Ridge, the Oxley Feed Mills are having their invitation drivers race on October 4th, a Friday night. It will be on Trots Vision. I believe, I don't know, I've just got to clarify something there, but I think there's a little bit going on there with that. But, try and keep them all up there. The drivers there, actually, as you can see there, Noel Shin, Deborah Wicks Moss, Jimmy O'Sullivan, Lance Justice, Brian Gaff, Ginger Gleeson, Glenn Conroy. I'm in all sorts of trouble. I do know the gentleman's name. Graham Whittle, Jeff Webster and Mark Hayes are all your drivers for this year. But I recently caught up with Noel Ridge the other day just to talk about it and just the importance of remembering the past so we can go forward. And Noel Ridge, of course, has the museum underneath the grandstand there at Bendigo. So I'll throw to Noel Ridge and I'll be back very shortly. Campbell's comments now. We're a little bit restricted for room, but I'm catching up with Noel Ridge. Hello, Noel.
Hey, how are you, Paul?
Well, we're here to promote the Veteran Drivers Race, the Oxley Feed Mills Veteran Drivers Race that's coming up October 4th.
Friday, November the 4th, at
November
Lord's
the 4th.
Raceway.
Yeah, here. But
Yep.
Firstly, the memorabilia, this room in here, it's getting smaller and smaller by the minute. You're getting more and more stuff, mate.
We're just trying to work out how to get 100 books from from Sydney, from the former head of Australian harness racing, who's in a retirement home. 100 books, most of them, they're rare.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
so you've got to
amazing.
go put them somewhere and
Yeah.
go from there. I was fortunate enough to be at Menangle, and they've got a great memorabilia up there. It's just amazing what they've done, and that's, I'm sure that's something you're aspiring to try and get to.
Well, they need to sell a racetrack, don't they? Because they sold Harold Park, and look what it's done.
Yeah, but it's so important. I mean, you were talking there before. We're saying Cole Redwood's colours are over your shoulder just there,
Yeah.
and these are people like both of us have had long conversations with.
Yeah.
We don't want people just to forget who they are and once what they've contributed to this entire industry.
Well, the colours themselves, as you said, they represent the people, and I'm looking here at Bruce Barron, Jack Hargraves, Jack Moore. It's just wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the great things, you got Merv Dillon and Vin Knight's colours down there side by
Yeah.
side, or Bobby Knight's colours, aren't they? Everyone says they're Vin Knight's colours, but they're actually Bob's colours.
They're Bob's.
Yeah, just Vin drove in them a lot. So
Well, he was there before Vin, wasn't he?
Yeah. On that, Kilmore Harness Racing Club, and what they do with their Memorial Days and Memorial Nights, they really embrace remembering the past, don't they?
They do. It's great to see.
Yeah, it is indeed. Right, we're here to promote, as I said, the Oxley Feed Mills drivers, and we've got 10 drivers. And I can actually
It's
read
the
them.
ninth running, Paul.
And it's exciting because I've just done an interview with Eric that would have gone out a week before this one.
Yeah.
The one thing that's so exciting is the fact, like Oxley Feed Mills just jumped straight back onto, like they love it. It's such a great night. It's such a great lot of fun to be a part of.
Well, it's again, I liken it to the Brownlow Medal, and the Brownlow medalists can't play footy anymore, but people like Brian Gath, our top drivers over the past 30 or 40 years, can get out there and do as well as they probably could.
And what happens, they'll get presented to the crowd prior to their race.
Yes.
I shouldn't say this because I'm not in on all of the running of it, but generally they get presented to the crowd. But the guys then go and mingle. And afterwards, they all come up and they get, thanked. The winners get the first prize and everything else like that. But they all get thanked, and then they go and mingle it again. So it's not only a great night, to watch, if you like. It's actually a great night to come here and listen to these guys because they're in a different frame of mind once they get off. They want to tell stories because they start talking stories with each other out on the track.
But they're
don't they?
so competitive.
Yeah.
That, Lance Justice did the form on. I heard him talking about the form. He knew he was going to win last time we raced because he'd done the form and he was pretty confident. And they're not out there just to drive; they're out there to win. It's great.
But as I said, it's just a good night as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, look, it's one of the highlights of the year. I think it's both for the participants and for those lucky enough to be on course. It's a great night.
It's actually the 68th running of the Anniversary Cup as well on the same night. So that's going to be a big night. And I think there's also some Breeders' Crown heats for 3-year-olds as well.
Yeah, they are. So come along.
Come along and see these guys and meet them. Hang around. They'll come.
Yeah.
They come around. Normally they have nibblies upstairs, but because they're coming here to drive against their peers, their mates and their enemies all in one. Like they all would have had the odd stoush and that on the racetrack as well. Like
couple of people that aren't as prominent as others. Is Deborah Wicks-Moss, who
she was
started her career in New South Wales as Debbie Wicks.
Was she the first
She was.
lady driver to win a race in New South Wales?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Hang on, got to get that clarified.
At a race meeting.
At a race meeting on equal playing field with the men.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And Graham Whittle, he had absolute top-class horses at the showgrounds, including Jouer, horses like that. And Graham's won this race. Brian Gath's won it twice. Guess who's going to be trying to win it 3 times?
Brian Gaff definitely will. Jimmy O'Sullivan just up the road, the quietly spoken Noel Shin, but ever competitive as well.
Noel Shin, his figures are amazing. I think winners to starters at something like 21%. So he drove a winner every 5th time he went around.
And these guys are all active. They're all very, very competitive. We say about Mark Hayes, this horse he's got at the minute, Sir Patrick. And the way he drove it at Geelong the other night to win. Yep. They're all going good. They're all competitive. Graham Whittle's got a lovely trotter as well, whose name just escapes me, but it's a lovely big black trotter. Yeah. He'll tell me off. And, of course, Lance. And what a job Lance did. We say about memory and history. Saturday night just gone, taking Sokiola and smoking up there for the smoking up sprint. He gets it, doesn't he? Remember in the past.
Absolutely. Well, if we don't have a past, we don't have a future, do we?
That's right. You can only learn by your mistakes.
Good on
so
you.
we don't make it all. Noel, thank you. Anyone wants to come down here and have a look at the museum that you've got started and where it's progressing to and how it's all going, a couple of hours before the first.
Yeah, we'll have it. We'll have it open.
Meetings.
We'll have it open a couple of hours before the anniversary cup night, and it's open. Well, it's open most nights. Be an hour before the first race.
Before the first race,
Yep.
But if they wanted to see it outside those hours, give you a call.
Just call the office and we'll open up.
Yep, because there's a lot of people, a lot of good races coming up. The Redwood's coming up and things like that. We're not that far from there, so we want people to come over here and have a look at it, and then hopefully we can get it bigger and better and keep growing it. Noel Ridge, thank you very much.
No problem.
We have Noel Ridge, and I really appreciate it. I love catching up with Noel, and quite an interesting comment there. Alex Hurley is actually set there on the camera. I have a set of Grammel shoes at home. I need to get them reframed, though, as the frame has seen better days. But I encourage people to get their stuff there and get it out so people can actually see it, because, it's no point locked up where people aren't able to see it and can't get involved with it. If you keep it locked up, no one gets to see it, no other people get to appreciate it. So hopefully also that Noel can get a bigger area, a bigger room, if you like, and can get where he can start to show a lot of other things. Jeff Dixon and Troy Harley were having a conversation in regards to Group 1 status and the standard being lifted higher for Group 1s, and both in greyhounds and in harness racing. And I think Troy's just waiting on Jeff to get back to him. They'll continue that conversation. I do want to point out, though, to people who may not be aware of this, that next year there'll be 6 only, I think, Group 1 trots here in Victoria, with the reclassification of the prize money and the distribution. So a lot of the good races, including the Maori Mile and the Redwood, will no longer be Group 1 status. So with the way that they've changed the system and how it actually works. So I encourage people to get onto the future races for the 2023 season. It has only been sprung on a few people just recently. I don't know if it's necessarily set in stone, but it does affect a couple of big races, including the Maori Mile, which probably should be more than $50,000. But to lose a group status on an invitation to the world, anyone wins it this year won't be getting an invitation because they won't accept someone off a Group 2 event. So changes the play on a lot of things for participants. The Eureka was announced the other day, and there's all your shareholders with Tabcorp Park, Wayne Loader, Cordina Racing, Kevin and Kay Seymour, Danny Zavitanos, Taz Racing, Soho Standardbreds, Aaron Bain Racing and Summit Bloodstock, Queensland Racing or Racing Queensland, and John Singleton. And it's great to see so many people getting behind it. The only worry I have, apart from John Singleton, all those people are already invested in our industry. My belief was that the Eureka was going to be big and better. $2 million race, first $2 million race in harness racing, and attract new investors and new people. One betting agency only. I know the Greyhound race, Troy is actually on there. I can't remember the name of the race. That is a slot race. I think they have 3 betting agencies involved to help promote it and get it out there. I do know that the Wayne Loader slot there's something very special made up for that. I actually am privy to know it, but I'm not allowed to say it because there's going to be a big release next week on In the Gig in regards to it. So I think it's terrific. Kevin and Kay Seymour, they own Leap to Fame. Off what we saw the other night, we'd be reasonably confident that he may win that next year unless something happens if he doesn't keep improving. So, there's a fair bit of water going under the bridge. I'll be interested in what people think of the Eureka, how it's been received, what people think of the slot holders, and if it has been a little bit of a fizzer, if you like. While we're on Leap to Fame, I've got the last lap. Wasn't he dominant? He was just absolutely brilliant the other day, winning this, the Son of Bettor's Delight, one of my great sponsors in Woodlands, who are celebrating 30 years of harness race. But you can see him there in front, Grant Dixon. He is an absolute horseman and he does just a great job, Grant Dixon, and this is a beautiful horse. He looked after him the week before, aiming to win the final, and what a terrific job. Rip, Doug Hewitt. I've got an interview with Doug very, very shortly. Runs second and interest-free right down the outside for Darryl Douglas, and Julie Douglas does a terrific job getting into third. Those 2 horses, the second and third horses, were just mighty, mighty runs. They come from a mile back, and I think well done to those guys. But as I said there before, rightio. So Stace has just put a thing in there. So I do know it's very, very exciting. An interview with Summit, and they were looking to syndicate their slot. So I'd imagine that that's how others not involved could be exposed to the sport. Now, Danny Zavatanos is doing something with Geelong as well, Stace. So you're 100% right there. Wayne Loaders is incredible. I wish I could tell you what it was, but it's terrific. I think Brisbane is similar. I would imagine Tasmania may be similar as well, but hopefully trying to get new investors, but and go from there. As much as I hate it, I think we need some big investors in our sport though, because we need more high end, and I thought that's what this race was in regards to. So it's taking money from the breeders to top up a race, so that to improve our sport. I don't know necessarily if we're reaching a bigger audience just yet. Happy to be proved wrong. I'm not saying I am right, but I'm just looking into it. So don't disagree at all though with that. Stace, in any way, what I will do, I've got quite a lot still to get through. What I might do is I'll actually throw to Doug Hewitt's interview. I caught up with Doug straight after running second with Rip, of course, owned by Wayne Loader, and just had a quick chat to him and what it means to run second in a Victorian Derby. After the running of the Down by the Seaside Victorian Derby, catching up with Doug Hewitt with Rip, firstly, not very often a congratulations for a second. I'm sure you'd be wrapped just with the way you went.
Yeah, definitely.
Start again. Right. Okay, catching up with Doug Hewitt now after a sensational run of Rip in the Down by the Seaside Woodlands Victorian Derby, mate. Firstly, welcome to Campbell's Comments and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me. Big fella went super again tonight. Couldn't be more happy with him from where he's come from and what he's done. He's back to his best, and if we were a little bit closer, who knows? But Leap to Fame's just a class animal, and he's just too good for us tonight. Too good for everyone.
I was fortunate enough. I saw Leap to Fame in Tamworth going around a half-mile track, and I seen him up close. Tamworth, you know as well as I do. So you're on there, and you get to see them. You almost can touch them as they're going past. No disgrace running second to him.
No, definitely not, especially where I come from. But as I said, he's a class animal. What he's done this season's been freakish. I pulled up alongside him down the back straight after the race and saw he still had his plugs in. So it just shows what kind of animal he is. But taking nothing away from this bloke, I couldn't have been more happy with what he's done. He's sort of labelled as only a short class horse, and he's sort of proven that wrong now. His last 2 runs over the long trips have been massive, and it just shows he's a versatile bloke. We've done a lot of work with him to get to where he is, and he's only going to get improved from that in the future.
Horses sit on speed and they can accelerate. Like what he did last week, I thought, wow. And then you look at the other sort of slowing, so you think, oh, that's what. Tonight they weren't slowing, and he just peels out and just goes, and he's a monster. Yeah,
that's a thing with him. He's twice as good sitting than sprinting, but he's also done it from the top end. If you can get him to settle, he's got a lot left in that tank, and as you said, he's a massive horse. So as he's ranging up, he's doing that all himself. It's only when you ask him at the top of the straight to see what he's got left, he sort of lets down. Grant was just way too good for us tonight and had way too big of a lead, but he's still learning, this bloke, and he's promising future.
Wayne Loader is one very happy man. He didn't want to come on and do the talk, but he's absolutely wrapped. I think we undersell it sometimes. We only value the winners, if you like, sometimes, and it's the minor achievements. Yourself, like, how's your level of excitement after running second in the Victorian Derby?
Oh, yeah, I'm as happy as you can be. Like, of course, everyone's out there to win, but I'm just glad this bloke's back to doing what he's doing, and I was pumped coming off the track, and it's probably a bit silly. You get excited over coming second, but in a big race like that, to even be in, it's an achievement. But to put in the run he did and finish where he did, I'm absolutely over the moon with him.
That's what I try to do, though. Tell people we're not all about the punt and the first prize. It's the journey, and like obviously you've had a few little things with him. What's next for him?
He's got the Breeders' Crown. We'll see just how he pulls up now. He's still carrying a nice bit of weight. We've brought him in a little bit heavier than previous times, and he's absolutely perfect. He feels good within himself, so everything going according to plan. He'll be back down here for the Breeders' Crown. He is Vic bred, so that's at the end of the year, but as Wayne doesn't like to over-race him if he doesn't have to, and he's not afraid to miss out on one big race if he's aiming at a couple more, so you'll look after him, and we've always got the horse's best interest at heart. But next thing is Breeders' Crown, so if he's good enough, he'll be back here for that.
And Wayne, he must be just such a great asset to your stable. I know he's opened up the purse strings and he's bought plenty of horses, but his passion and I suppose you can say down-to-earth way about him as well. He must be such a great person to have had walk into your stable.
Oh, absolutely. We've been family friends with Wayne and Julie for years, and what they've done for this industry is remarkable. Like the things that they've helped us out with, and the horses that they're putting into this industry, and helping everyone out from the breeders to everything along the way. Our stable would be lost without them, and we're grateful that they're good friends of ours, and we just hope that we can always do a job for them.
He's actually bought a slot in the Everest too, and there's a great little side note to that as well, which we're not allowed to say, and we won't. But he's got his heart in harness racing, which I reckon, well done to him. Well done to what you and Dad are doing too. You guys are doing a great job. Like, it comes a lot of responsibility as well. So well done with both.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for having us, and hopefully we can keep going in these bigger races and being competitive.
I look forward to seeing you down here again very shortly. Well done, mate.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Rightio. That just come on there at the end. Hello, Marion Lancaster, one of my wife's good owners. So, so good to see her. Don't forget, you can watch his show on YouTube, and Nellie Melba is actually watching it on YouTube as we speak, and she says it's the best quality transmission on there. So the YouTube transmission is the best quality by far, much better than Facebook, and you're able to watch it on your big screen, which is what we're saying. Placing in those big races for us small-time owners, breeders, is definitely as good as winning. Absolutely, Nelly, that's exactly right. Timmy White, the Kiwi, is on. We've had quite a few Kiwis actually on there as well, so good to see you. Graham Hand was on a little bit earlier as well. Good to see you up and off your sick bed. It'd be interesting to see what the Kiwis think of the Eureka, because of it being Australian-only horses, whether they enjoy that, don't enjoy it, and that as well. So give us some feedback. It's okay. I'm probably one of those people that's a little bit frustrated. All right, while we're on the Kiwis, I have got my my Woodlands hat on, of course, but don't forget, going to New Zealand very, very shortly will be Rock and Roll Do. I'm sure everyone's seen the last 400 of the Victoria Cup, but just sensational to see a horse like this, what he's been able to do. Spoke to Mick a little bit earlier on in the day. He was actually mowing his lawns. He wasn't lying about the rain. He hadn't had it in Ballarat, he reckoned, but it was coming. But he's just been overawed by the amount of feedback and commentary he's had around his horse. Absolutely loves it, and he's looking forward to going to New Zealand. Good to see you been in a meeting, Timmy. That's a good excuse not to be on. You should have had it going live. Ben Stud Standardbreds are on. Congratulations the other day with Tough Tilly. Back to Rock and Roll Do, though. And Mick Stanley, he's very, very excited. Looking forward to heading to New Zealand and being a part of the New Zealand Cup. He heads out on Friday. The horse is on a plane tonight. And he'll be over there Friday, and he's staying right across there. And I can tell you now, Campbell's Comments will be over there. I'm going to be over there from the 31st of October right through till Friday, which is show day, they call that. So I'm going to have a lot of fun over there, catching up with a lot of people while we're over there, and really looking forward to it. So if any of the Kiwis want to get involved, please do so as well. Yep, absolutely. Great comments there, Stacey Towers. I actually said, someone asked me yesterday about Mick and how he'll drive. The one thing I did say, they'll know he's in the race. Words Stacey uses there, so awesome for Mick and the team. Hope he crushes them. Crushing is the way Mickey drives. He won't be holding back, so it'll be absolutely terrific. So it won't be bad. Timmy White, I will come and see you, hopefully. Just got to try and work out an agenda as to what I am doing over there, but there's plenty going on. New Zealand show gets released every Tuesday afternoon. Please feel free to get in touch with that. I started saying before too, the US Trotting Association is the Facebook page to watch. Go and watch it for all the up-to-date on America. It was interesting, they've highlighted a day there in America. The last day it was on the Red Mile when Bulldog Hanover actually got beat. 8 races. The Aussies had a hand in 6 of those between Aussies and Kiwis, Southern Hemisphere. Brett Pelling. I'm going to be in trouble now. Toddy McCarthy, Andy McCarthy, of course, Dexter Dunn, and there was one other Australian that had a hand in the training over there. And I forget. So on the big stage, just going absolutely enormous everywhere we go. So of course it is huge. So yep, if you are watching on YouTube, you can by all means type in your comments and get involved. Don't be scared to hit subscribe and hit like. It's a huge show, but it's wet. There's not much else to do. I've still got quite a few things to get through, going through there very, very quickly. From a Woodlands point of view, and the team at Woodlands who have been looking after me for as long as I can remember, and they always do a terrific job. Some great news with them, with What the Hill for Triumph Stride, and also the guys at NZB. I've got an NZB hat here somewhere. Maybe I haven't. I might have forgot it. Doesn't matter. The guys at NZB Standardbreds as well. Sale topper from last year's sale, 2-year-old trotter this year in Triumph and Stride 1. They paid $190,000 for him. Incidentally, on the same night, I have to check my notes now. I'm going to get it. Toro Stride 1 as well. Same day at Maryborough, just recently at Maryborough, and he was a $220,000 purchase as well. Both won on the same day at Maryborough the other day. But congratulations. Talk about sales and big events. We want to make sure that people, get a return and have some fun with it. Don't forget though, Woodland Stud, of course, is celebrating 30 years of world-class breeding, and I will be doing some stuff over there with those guys. Of course, Sweet Lou the other day sired his 40th individual 2-year-old winner here in Australia, and so my New Zealand friends booked out this year, Sweet Lou here in Australia, and almost booked out next year as well as down by the seaside. I've got a big release coming tomorrow for Woodlands, so make sure you consider breeding to Sweet Lou as well, and going from there. Actually, we will go back to this way. While I'm still talking about the Kiwis, and this is one of those ones I want to showcase for the Australians, the Methane Cup, which is a grass track race, and you can see it there on screen. How pretty is that? Just magic. We talk about grass track racing and what we want to be able to get involved with, and this is just sensational. These are Auckland Cup horses. We're going to have 2 trot races at Yarra Glen, and they'll probably be for the trotters. They won't be for the fast class horses. These are the fast class horses. Spankum, Self-Assured, I'm pretty sure, just got to make sure I get it right. Yeah, that's Self-Assured going to the front there as we speak. With Smithy Terra comes out and gets the chockies. He's also with the white head check out in the middle. That's Spankum there in the centre. There's a couple other horses as well. Alto Wise Guy gets up along the fence, I think. Or no, it might be the outside for the Telfers and runs third. 10 horses were beaten 7 metres on the grass track, but they were all fast-class horses. It's just such a great spectacle, and I think it's something that we should be getting involved in as well. So well done to the Kiwis. These guys take it for granted, but I think it's well done. It's a great spectacle. There was an 18-horse 2-year-old trot from memory, 14-horse 2-year-old trot, an 18-horse trot, 3 16-horse fields for the Pacers, Magic Cards, huge betting turnover. And the sooner we can get more and more of those, and I believe we shouldn't be taking them, although nothing against Yarra Glen, we definitely should be taking Yarra Glen. Imagine having harness racing around Kyneton in the middle of summer, definitely not in wintertime, but in summertime at Kyneton Gallops. It would be just so picturesque. We could take it to Donald again. We used to race at Donald many moons ago. We'd have grass track racing there, get back to the communities, get back to a few of the other places that we don't normally get involved with. So, yeah, just a bit of a recommendation. But the Methane Cup, keep an eye out on New Zealand because they do some really great things going forward with a lot of their promotions, if you like, getting across that way. I haven't had Mickey House on tonight, so he must be in the same meeting or busy. So it's unusual. He hasn't drank a bottle of wine either this time, but he might be there. He may not be there. Woodlandstud.co.nz to find out all about the roster of the stallions. And as I said, be aware that if you want to go to Down by the Seaside and Sweet Lou, spaces are filling fast for the 2024 season, not the 2023 season. Safety specialist. Now, I've been saying for a long time about wearing his branded territory. Darren Aiken, he was on earlier. Hopefully he's still on. He might not be, but he might be out building and got me in the car going. That's a jacket that he embroidered. It's embroidered on the back. So for all your apparel and your promotional gear, get the safety specialist a call on 0400 309 902. You can see there clearly the hero hats with the ears. They're one of the brainchilds of Daz as well. So make sure you get it there. I'll put the gear bag in because I like the idea of a gear bag, something a little bit different to get your sponsorship going with as well. So beanies, the Harass the Trotters beanies, puffer jackets, pants, the whole box and dice. Make sure you get in touch with Darren Aiken on 0400 309 902. So I'm slowly getting through most of this stuff. The Down by the Seaside Derby we've done that. Copy, that was awesome. The big hullabaloo about whether you should or shouldn't race in the Victoria Cup. What did people think of the Victoria Cup coverage? I've heard nothing but good reports on it. I was there, so I didn't get to see it. It was interesting. We didn't, in the stables, they generally give you the Trots Vision coverage. Didn't have that. We had the Sky Channel coverage, but only when they came to the on-course presenters, being Brittany Graham. So we heard Brittany's interviews and, of course, Dan Malecki, but you didn't get to hear any of the what was racing.com or the Trots Vision, which was a little bit unusual. People got used to it, so it was interesting. It was a huge night of racing. Of course, I've done an interview with Kieran Manning that's gone up, caught up with Jess Tubbs, Grant Dixon as well, all from that night. Kate Gaff as well. I was going to say there was another one, so there's a heap of interviews there. Just go to Campbell's Comments, Facebook, YouTube, or my website. I actually found this one the other day. I can't believe I haven't been using that, but go to campbellscomments.com. For the website. If you've missed out on anything, all the videos are there in chronological order, so you're able to go there and watch them. It's off the YouTube feed. Watch them on the big screen if you like, but yeah, please go to campbellscomments.com.au, and there'll be some more things happening on that website very shortly. We're going to change some things up and get it going from there. I've got my great mate, Daniel Hibberd. He's actually watching. What have we got to go? What I might do, I'll actually throw to my last interview, and when I come back, may or may not, depends on what he's up to, have Daniel Hibberd on. This is Paul Rowse, of course, the CEO of the Ballarat Harness Racing Club, or Ballarat and District Trotting Club, actually. I caught up with him just the other day. Paul Rowse joining me now from the Ballarat and District Trotting Club. Firstly, hello, Rousey.
Good morning, Paul, and what a lovely day it is here in Ballarat. I'm tipping it's probably a sunny 16 degrees, but definitely feels warmer.
Anyone wondering, Mark Hughes might be over the other side, and there's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek in that intro that you just did. Lots going on here at Ballarat. I want to highlight and promote the Inter-Dominion and the race night that you've got coming up, and make people aware of the bookings and the tickets. But just very, very quickly, Flying Horse undergoing a major makeover.
Certainly is, Paul. Probably well overdue. It's been on our books for about 5 years. We're very lucky we've got a very business and innovative-minded committee, so it's been a real driving force to make sure after COVID that this renovation goes forward. So looking to spend probably a little bit short of $5 million, virtually a complete facelift of the Flying Horse. I showed yourself and Mark from Woodlands a quick look around. Brand new sports bar, outdoor smoking area which aligns to the TAB. We relocated our gaming, so gaming and TAB are together with a separate entrance, ready for the big area. So the revamped bistro, 50-seat function space, but more importantly, a kids' multi-purpose play space, something, Paul, we haven't had. Made us somewhat irrelevant here in Ballarat in recent times, so with our younger demographics, so we believe that's going to be the real next generation drive at Ballarat to get the families back at the trots through our venue and then cross-sell them harness racing.
And you said multi-purpose was the other part that you mentioned there. You're saying about the kids' room, but you were mentioning yoga and things like that. And people might say, what the? But that's the whole idea of it, isn't it? Is to be able to, if someone comes to you and says, we want to have a game of bingo, you can do that. If you want to have a 5-star dinner, you'll be able to do that as well.
It certainly is, and people know that we've got a big complex upstairs. On different times, it's very hard to open up for smaller functions, so we believe the 50-plus function space would be perfect for any of those big sort of occasions that a sporting club or school group may have. And but being aligned to the kids' free play space is probably the number one driver for us. And anybody that's sort of gone to a child care or a kindergarten in recent years is very much that it's the outdoors coming in. So the kids can just free play. It's not necessarily a lot of obstructions being claw machines and digital games. It'll be all about the kids, crawling around. We've got a climbing wall. We've got an interactive projector, which we're pretty excited about, and but very much a real generational thing that the young families will be coming to our venue and with the hope of cross-selling the great sport of harness racing.
Absolutely, rightio. We've got one person I need to catch up with in a minute. Don't you worry about that. I reckon she's forgot about me too, and she'll be able to watch this and look at the finger. You can tell she's definitely forgotten about me. The Inter-Dominion 2022, what have we got, 26th of November. I love the sign, firstly. I love the badging. I think it's actually really good, and it suits this venue here. One, you must be rapt to get the Inter-Dominion back here at Ballarat.
We certainly are. When we did it back in 2018, we had a Tuesday night, which was, it was a hugely successful night. HRV always had Ballarat in the back of their mind, and we were very privileged when they came up with the opening round of heats of Ballarat. So part of the steering committee, which working with both our regional clubs being Shepparton and Geelong, it's been a learning curve for everybody, and I think the HRV team now are doing a fantastic job thinking of all things that would happen on a big event like this, and I think they're thinking very commercial. And Fiona Mellor, as our acting CEO, is doing a fantastic job, but supported by a lot of good management people.
And we have to think differently. I keep banging on about it till the cows come home. The industry needs to change the way we do it. We want to say, it's our trotting track and look after this bistro. They have to encompass. We have to spread our wings. We have to get things out there. We've got to be able to try and grow this Inter-Dominion and showcase what a great event it actually is.
Oh, it certainly is, Paul, and exactly what you're saying is something the way we've always thought of. By the way, the trots are on. Come for your event, and on 28 occasions during our year here, Ballarat will be racing. So we just want to get them in the doors, whether it's a fundraiser or a school valedictory dinner. We get them in first, and then we look at letting them know what a great sport it is. And absolutely, the Inter-Dominion showcase is the best in our sport. I've been lucky over my time to go to most Inter-Dominions, travel all around Australia and New Zealand, and it's really important as a club admin person to be out and about and be seen at these events, and also know that the other states are getting your support. So then back in 2023, of course, it goes to Albion Park. So we've already made some connections there, and we'll help assist the event go from very successful event in Victoria off to Queensland and keep the momentum going.
You always, in my mind anyway, you lead the way you set up your, what are they called, the travelling buses, the food vans. You have an outdoor bar and that. Have you got some different ideas planned for the you have, I can tell by the smirk whether you answer this as a no or not, but for this Inter-Dominion race night?
Well, actually, Paul, we do have a market, but if for those that went to Victoria Cup on Saturday night, that is the model going forward for clubs, having some sort of activity. They had the market stalls there and also the food trucks, and it gives the ordinary person a reason to go to a racetrack. And it's something we've been doing successfully for a number of years. So we believe the only probably different tweak we've got this year, we're making a Ballarat Makers Market. So anybody that wants to showcase food or wine or craft from the Ballarat district area, they'll get a stall here on Inter-Dominion night. So it's all important about being, showcasing all things in your area. And I think, it's great that the Inter-Dominion again's going regionally. And I think that Shepparton always had a great following of people up to the racetrack up there, and Geelong have done some really great renovations down there of recent times. So I think the fit of the clubs this year is an excellent one. Again, it's all about momentum. We're hoping the Victoria Cup momentum that was built on Saturday night, the unbelievable racing, will continue on during the Inter-Dominion.
We need to embrace the community so the community can embrace us. It's all good and well to say to the councils, we need money for this and money for that. But if we don't give back, what hope have we got? I love that you're giving back to the local areas. Give them a spot where they can, someone might turn around and say, geez, that's nice chocolate or nice wine that they've made.
Oh, it certainly is, and we're always anything that HRV puts forward to support the brand of harness racing Victoria, our club is always 100% behind, and we're lucky enough at times to be able to lead that charge. So again, very honoured to be part of the series, and we're looking forward to it. 26th of November. So all the other information, Paul, as we know, head to thetrots.com.au, whether it's dining or just other event information. That's the place to go.
So for all your dining packages, don't ring Ballarat. Go to thetrots.com.
If you want to speak to me personally and book a package, I'll be happy to take the phone call, but the trots.com will have all the regional heat information there, as well as grand final night at Melton. But, we're very lucky at our club. We have a lot of traditional bookings, whether it's a feature event or the Cup, so we get a lot of return faces, but we're already fielding phone calls from right across Australia and New Zealand wanting to be here opening round of heats.
I'll put the banner up down the bottom. Rouse, thanks very much. Thanks for showing us around. Looking forward to when this is all finished. And been able to have a meal here. You haven't, Yuzi's not happy when he misses out on a feed.
My apologies to Mark. As I said, when you booked on the Monday, Paul, it's the only day we're not currently doing meals like everybody else. We're a bit under the pump for staff. So, but we can't wait to the 14th of November when we get our bistro and area back, and the club will be in full swing ready for the 26th of November.
People think I'm not bad getting clothing and all the rest. Yuzi's not bad on getting a free feed. Don't worry about that. If you want to know how to get a free feed, you've got to follow Mark Hughes around. Rouse, thank you. Good luck. I'll be chatting to you before that, but good luck, mate.
Hope to see you there.
Righto, I'm back, and it's always great to catch up with Paul Rowse from the Ballarat and District Trotting Club, and going forward, I should have turned on the light, but that's okay. It'll be fine. People can put up with it being a little bit dark. Great to have Cam Bray on. Cam Bray, while I have you on there, we've got to say big happy birthday to Dr. Kath McIntosh. Hopefully she's having a great day from Lower Long Farms. It is her major achievement today, actually. She might have reached, so congratulations, Kath. Hopefully you've enjoyed it with some champagne and some oysters, of course, as well. But congratulations to you, Kath. I actually have got Daniel Hibberd, I think, on the phone. I'm not sure if he's there or not. Daniel, can you hear me? May not have him on the phone because I reckon I got him through the wrong thing. Now I might have... No, now I've got you on the phone, I reckon.
I'm here.
He is there. Firstly, very quickly, while I've got you, of course, the Lower Long Farms bonus too. Don't forget that $100,000 bonus if you breed to Pastor Steve and Raging Bull, Yankee Rockstar, Poster Boy, and Lather Up this season. All those horses, if they can happen to win the Vic Bred, can go into the draw. Well, no draw. You just win it. You get $100,000. No more to pay. Nothing extra. That's it. It's just a done deal. So, but as I said, a very big happy birthday to Dr. Kath McIntosh there. So she'll enjoy that, as will a couple of the other people that probably know there's a little bit of an in-joke there, but that's okay, getting involved. Daniel, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Paul. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and almost positioned everything perfectly. I just had a little bit of a punt. I better turn you up a bit so other people can hear you. You're not home yet, but you are on the hands-free. You promised me that?
Yes, absolutely, on the Bluetooth.
I was just going to ask you then, how are the roads back? Because it is very trying conditions here. A lot of people won't realise, but the roads are safe, I gather?
There's raining at the moment. The road will come through. water on the Midland Highway. It's not over the top of it or anything, but if we get what's predicted in the next 24 hours, it might be a different story.
No, absolutely, mate. I don't disagree at all. Plenty of people still watching. Don't be scared to get involved in the conversation. If you're a first timer, just type your messages in and get involved. You can say anything from hello to goodbye. It doesn't really faze me too much, Daniel. That's what this show's about. Do you know, I say about, I turned your name off. What did I turn your name off for? There it is there. Oh, I might have turned that one on. Oh no, I've got to turn that off. Don't know what's going on there, Daniel. I've got some things going, some gremlins in the system, but that's okay. You're there and people can see you. I keep saying I'm the #1 harness racing talkback show in Australia, New Zealand and England. I have now, can comfortably say, Pakistan and India. I get in the teens of viewers each week on my online show. I have a look at the stats straight after. But last week, Daniel, 18 people from the USA. I can't say I'm the #1 show there because that could get me into trouble. But I would like some USA content into my comments. So if there's anyone watching, please don't be scared to get involved. So just something.
You just want a free trip to the state. That's all you want.
And a junket, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That is exactly right, Daniel. That's exactly what I'm after. One, Bendigo Greyhounds. How were they today? Would have been trying conditions for the participants.
It was actually pretty good for the first sort of few hours. It had rained at about lunchtime, and then we sort of got pretty steady rain from about rain 9 onwards. So the track was pretty wet by the end of it, but they're still racing good time. It's still safe, but we'll just have to see how it plays out tomorrow, leading into the Cup on Friday.
Yeah, all right. You calling tomorrow night? Group 1 racing starting up soon at Sandown. I think you've got heats coming up this week, haven't you?
Yeah, preludes of the Cup. So this is the precursor to the heats. It's a pretty hard race just to get into the heats for. So you've got to qualify for the heats before you actually qualify for the final. So the preludes start tomorrow, and you win a prelude, you're guaranteed a spot in the heats. And if you run top 3 in the prelude, you're pretty well sure of getting a run in the heats as well. And it will depend on numbers, but you'd be pretty unlucky if you run a place that didn't qualify for the heats.
Wow, that's amazing. It's a big difference in it. It's sad. Sometimes you listen to the numbers with the Greyhounds and you go from there. Bendigo Greyhounds are actually watching as we speak, so I would imagine that's Charlton Hindle. He'll be gearing up for a pretty big Friday night. Are you calling Friday night?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Cool. I might be able to get down there to see. It's a big night, like forecast. So don't forget, go to the Facebook page. There's a link to the YouTube page. Big competition. Go there and have a look at that this Friday night. Daniel, I said there before, I just had a quick chat to you. You said, well, we want to talk about just a quick chat about a few things. One, the coverage. You saw the coverage the other night from racing.com as it was.
Yep.
How did you find it?
Yeah, I sort of was watching it just to sort of get a feel of what potentially might happen from my perspective going forward with the Greyhounds in the back end of November, just to sort of see how it sort of flowed. Look, I thought the coverage was really good. They interacted really well. There was good coverage through the stables and the parade area and so forth. The only thing, and I'm probably being very picky here, is that the length of time. I know we're trying to attract people by putting it on racing.com. I know that the big race days like Caulfield Guineas essentially would have started about 12:30, finished at virtually 6 o'clock. I know it's 5.5 hours. You couldn't really expect people to sit at home again for another 5.5 hours. I think the meeting probably needed to be a little bit shorter in terms of the coverage that we put on racing.com. Now, I'm not saying that we need to cull it down to 6 races and stuff like that. But if we could have into a 3 hour, maybe 3.5 hours, as what you would expect with the footy, that sort of coverage, I think you might have worked out a little bit better. Because because just going right through to 11 o'clock, it just seemed to drag on right towards the end. I know the turnover figures and everything are off the charts, and that's great. But in terms of a product on TV, I reckon it probably just went a touch long.
Yeah, no, and that's probably fair enough and something we've got to look at. The flip side of that, one thing I did find out, and I wasn't necessarily, it seemed odd, race 1 wasn't on Trot's Vision. And the amount of people that tuned in to watch the Trot's Vision coverage thinking that's what it was, and there was big gaps in the Trot's Vision coverage because it was actually the racing.com coverage. So when they went to ads and things like that, there was nothing put on Trot's Vision. So some people found that a little bit frustrating, but the flip side, it's on free to air, so we've got to accept that.
Yeah, I think, if you were trying to watch it on Trot's Vision, you realise that first race wasn't on there, and there's whatever the issues were there. But I mean, it's just it's easy to download the racing.com app, and then you could have watched it straight on there and had no issues. It would have been the same as watching Cross Vision on your phone or your iPad or whatever. So they're just little teasing things, I guess. But and other than that, I thought the coverage was really good. I think there's probably a few things I'll work on for next time, particularly with the Inter-Dominion final and so forth. But yeah, on the whole, I thought it was really good. Just the length was probably the one thing.
I've heard something in relation to Trot's Vision that may upset a few people too. I can't say it here just yet because I haven't been able to confirm it, but I hope it's not true actually. So which is a little bit of a side note, but I think it's a platform that should be growing and should be growing a lot more, but it seems a little bit stagnant at the minute.
Particularly if the turnover is going through the roof like it is, if we're getting that sort of turnover, I mean, that's the thing. That's the bottom line you've got to be looking at.
Well, this won't help that. If what I was told is true, it won't help it at all. So maybe next week on this show, once I can get it confirmed, but no one would answer me today, so I'm not going to do that. But the person who told me is a pretty reliable source, so I'll tease it out very quickly. We've got one other topic, and the messages are coming through Alex early, so I do know, and I know it's one of Daniel's questions as well. But Clive's girl, Charlie Gusman, great to see win the last. It was great that Racing.com stayed on for that late, albeit they cut it pretty short with her interview because they wanted to get out of there. But great to see just high-class racing all night, and it wasn't let down in the last, but a small-time person being part of it. So well done to Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, her first Metro drive, which was quite hard to believe, actually. I didn't realise that was the first time she'd driven in a Metro race. But, I mean, she had the plum draw, got the right sort of run. I know there was a fair few charity challenge punters that had on top in the last race there, so all went home a winner. But, it's a really good story in terms of the breeding. Well, Empire, she's got the one there who just keeps on giving her a pole each year, and we had he's Charlie's Angel, who looked like being the real boom horse after his debut win at Cobram. He's still got plenty of ability and plenty to learn, but good to see that this really certainly got a fair bit of ability, much like him, and win that Group 2 race is a real feather in her cap because it just goes to show that the full-time operators can certainly have the luck as well as the big operators.
Yeah, definitely. That's what harness racing is about. Rightio, Alex Early, given the weather, should Kilmore have been called off already? Obviously, there is a question on whether the track can handle it, but do we want people in floats on the roads with 60 to 100 mil predicted in the area? I will say, and then she actually also does come back in and say she does actually want the race to go ahead because she's got a horse in.
So do I.
And she also...
I've got one in too.
Yeah, and also we've got to be a little bit careful because the weather gods do get it wrong. I actually watched the Caulfield Guineas coverage today, tuned in at 12 o'clock. They were expecting between 2 and 5 mil of rain for the entire day. They'd got a downpour before the first, or two downpours. They then said that they've been reliably informed there's no more rain, and anyone that watched the coverage, I don't think it stopped after that. So they can get it wrong both ways. So it's an interesting conversation there's a couple of things, Daniel, I'll let you have your say, but one thing I will say, Kilmore's betting turnover is through the roof, so HRV won't want it to move from there to another track which doesn't have the same TAB turnover. A track like Bendigo definitely could be on the cards, but we are predicted anywhere from 50 mil plus rain overnight, and I can reliably inform you it hasn't stopped raining here since I've been on this show, and it's an hour and 40 minutes, so it has not stopped once since I've done the show. So I wonder about that one, but your thoughts, mate?
I think they're on a hike enough whichever way they go. I think if the rain comes as predicted, there's not a chance in hell that the meeting will go ahead at all. But they'll need to get on the front foot to call it off. You'd reckon that they need to call it off by lunchtime to make sure no one's on the road heading to Kilmore. Because if what comes, where there's no way they'll race. In terms of moving the meeting, it may not be of any benefit anyway, because all the tracks in that area, your Bendigo, your Ballarat, your Melton or whatever, they're probably going to be the same situation. And even up here, I mean, I know the Chev track handles a bit of water, but if you're going to get 50 or 60 mil, well, the horses can't wear flippers.
No, absolutely, and that is one of the issues. I know Kilmore have lost meetings recently, but I don't know.
If they get the rain in that like a steady fashion, not like a real summer, they might be all right. But if they get it in a real big bird, well then they're screwed.
Yep, and there is other issues at Kilmore too, which people have to be aware of, is like the Gallops tracks and those things. They don't help necessarily getting things done. And when I say that, just the moisture that gets absorbed in that grass track, horses getting across. There's so many other factors that do happen at Kilmore. Daniel, we've got some good ones. Peter Amirio, there's quite a few. Barney Boyington's watching, but Peter Amirio's watching there. Just quickly on the water, Andrea O'Gorman's watching too, and we've got to give a big shout out to all our friends at Charlton. They've got a meeting coming up, and I'm not sure exactly when that is, but
19th, because I'm calling it.
19th, so that's not that far away. And the floodwaters there with the Loddon River, they tell me that the Charlton, the river is getting very, very high. So our thoughts go out to all the people there in Charlton, all the trainers, but all the actual people, because they've had some bad storms over the years, actually, the guys in Charlton. So I had Mark Barton on earlier. I don't know if you heard him, but he was saying that they're looking like breaking the once-in-a-100-year storm record there in Wagga at the minute. So it's getting pretty nasty in quite a few places, especially places like Wagga and Charlton, where they're not exactly hilly. The water doesn't move very quickly. So that's one of the issues that you can have with those areas. So, so hopefully everyone in Charlton stays safe, mate.
Yeah, that's, they had that, I think it was 2011 or 2012, if someone will correct me, but they were horrible floods. They're like beyond belief how much water was around, and it's the river. Anyone who goes Charlton, the trotting track, the river backs onto the precinct. So if it gets up, there's nothing to stop it flooding the whole area through there.
No, definitely not. What can you say the name of your horse, Phoenix, that's racing tomorrow, please, at Kilmore?
Hephaestus Phoenix.
Hephaestus Phoenix. Darren Garrard's on there from Garrard's Horse and Hound. Actually, I better not be that cheeky. I was going to say I've got to do a couple more sponsors, but I won't do that to Darren just yet. I will say one thing about the Follow the Foals, favouritefoals.com for Barrastock. Please don't forget me, great sponsors there at Barrastock. If you've had a foal born and you want to go in the running for $3,000 travel voucher, go to favouritefoals.com.au. Daniel, you stopped the $3,000 part, but that's okay. We won't worry about that too much, but make sure we look after all my sponsors as we go. Get Up Malcolm. Does Stacey know your horse, or is that Malcolm in opposition?
Hey?
Is Malcolm the name of your horse?
No.
Stacey Towers is voting for someone else, rooting for someone else.
Okay.
We need more than Malcolm, Stace. So Diane Riley's on there as well.
Oh, no, sorry, Malcolm. Malcolm, I thought you said, Malcolm's his name.
So Stacey might have broken
I thought you said Malcolm.
Does that mean Stacey may have broken in?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I'd say she knows a little bit about him. Yep, she said, yes, it is. That's his stable name. Well done to you, Stace. Did you see Victor the Inflictor win the other day?
I did see Victor win. It was good to see him fight maiden race. It took good to see him win.
You can never watch a win too often, so I've put it back on for Stace right now as we speak because, I know Mark Lee was on earlier. There is some chance that Stace may have spent Mark's man cave money on buying a horse. I'm not sure if it was Victor or not, but Victor was responsible for sort of balancing the ledger out. So they did good. She's levelled that up. She didn't break him in. She's just done a few preps with him for you. So there you are. So then you know that.
Excellent.
Good to see. Sean O'Sullivan got a winner tonight. Really under fire for Jimmy O'Sullivan as well. I was just quickly having a quick look through them in Echuca, David Miles, Chris Hughes, Blake Jones, and 803. That race hasn't come on. Dancers will win that because Donna Castles, she just wins a trot race every week. She does a great job with a small team, Sissy, so she does a really, really good job. Right, anything else, my friend?
No, I'm just about home, so it's time to bowl.
I aim to please. That's what I do. This is a show that is as random as they come. I did very, very quickly say there before I had to look after all my sponsors and supporters. Horseland Bendigo support my daughter exceptionally well, so I must say a big shout out to Kylie. Make sure you go to Horseland Bendigo for all your anything, rugs, all the box and dice there. Go and see Stace. Go and see Kylie. Got Stacey on the mind now, and go from there. And don't forget the guys at NZB Standardbreds, which I can't show because Daniel's name's over the top of them, so that one doesn't work quite as well. But most of them are there. The safety specialist 0400 309 902. Daniel, thank you very much. So what are we calling? Sandown, back to Bendigo.
Yeah. And then Shepparton on Saturday morning, so it's going to be a busy period. Yeah, hopefully the weather's kind to us over the next 3 days.
Patrick Tompkinson's first time getting involved with Campbell's comments. I did a little bit with him with the harness racing show the other day. Well done to Ray Cross for training 2 winners today. Absolutely, Patrick. Great effort it was. He also, not only that, Jack McKinnon, actually Jack drove one and Anthony Butt drove the other, but Jack had a second as well, which is good to see. I know Gayleen, Jack's mum, tunes in quite regularly too, so a good day for there was a couple of others actually. Since you're not home just yet, you might be very, very close. Well, quickly have a look. I'm not going to go do all the results. Sinsky and James Herbertson. A Lady Adela, a creatine for Bluey Old. Chris Finozio won the 3-year-old maiden trot today. Jason Ainsworth. They just knock up winning races. They do a great job. I've got to catch up with them, Daniel. They do a good job with a small team of horses, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I mean, they capitalise on those lesser horses in the lesser races, but they still get the results, and that's a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. From the West, that was Countess Sharon for Ray Cross and Anthony Butt. Ican Motor and Adam Stevenson and Michael Bellman. Good day at Melton today. Jessica's Story, as I said, Ray Cross and Jack McKinnon combining to win that one. Brad Chisholm with some really interesting names in the ownership there, but with Miradiro, with Geordie Leedham, Brad Chisholm, Nathan Ford and Jack Trainer all involved, and Dean and Blanche Poole, of course, in the breeders there. So quite a few there. Philip Cherkop got a winner with Just Mickey, David Punch and Craig Demler. Some Beach Dreaming actually run race number 9. So good lot of
I think
winners.
you'll find that horse was first up for about 2.5 years, something like that.
Some Beach Dreaming.
Yeah.
Raced on the 16th of January 2021 at Leeton. Was his first, his only start prior to that.
Yeah, 1.5 years.
And his first ever trial was on the 24th of October 2020 at Leeton, where he ran 6th. I love how New South Wales do that, and the sooner Victoria can do that, the better. You can go back and see all their trial results as well. So, yeah, so he actually won a trial back in November, but, been a little while, but good to see. And might have done it pretty hard by the looks. 3 wide, middle, wide, and got the chockies done.
Yes.
So well done there to, I don't know his first name, D Punch. Hang on a sec, I do know his first name, David. So congratulations to David Punch there and everyone else. The late Gary Punch trained him. So there might be a little bit in that with Stacey saying they're the late Gary Punch. I don't know them at all, Stace, so thank you very much for filling us in with that. But so I would say that might be why there was a big gap between the races, Daniel.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, definitely indeed. So, all right, entertaining show. This is a record, mate. 1 hour and 50 minutes. I don't think I've ever spoke. I have. I do it quite a lot. We should be doing trots vision. We should be able to have the trots in between. Imagine how much fun I could have if we were at Echuca and I could set up like this and just when the races come on, we just put them up. So let people get involved and build the show. Have some fun. Harness racing, enjoy communities. That's my theory on it, Daniel. So, yeah. But anyway. All right, mate.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of my sponsors and everyone that gets behind Campbell's comments and helps me along the lines. Patrick Tompkinson, almost too late. If you have to go inside, Daniel, you do that. When do you have the legend Paul Rowse on? You have to scroll back, Patrick. We've been going for 2 hours. So, yeah, Rousey was on a little bit earlier talking about. Make sure you get your tickets to the Inter-Dominion. I don't think tickets are necessarily selling like hotcakes, Daniel, so we need people to do that. The other one is the Redwood Rattler, and I'm not on a junket, Daniel. I haven't been asked to do that one, but it's a significant part of the Redwood Carnival. They're calling for tickets for that. Their tickets are very light at the minute, so we need more tickets for that to get involved as well. So dinner packages, go through trots.com for the Inter-Dominion and also to book your ticket on the Redwood Rattler. So, yeah, thank you to everyone that's got involved. Patrick Tompkinson, don't be a stranger. Get involved more often. Stacey Towers, as always, thank you very much. Well done with Victor. Daniel Hibberd, thank you. Troy Harley, Mark Barton, and all my guests, thank you. And as always, all my sponsors, just a bit of fun, lighthearted. The show has no direction. Who knows where it'll end up? Daniel wasn't even coming on. And he's now sitting in his car freezing and he's like, when is he going to shut up? He's not. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who has tuned in. And I will catch you all next Wednesday if I don't catch you beforehand. So thank you very much.